Welcome back. Your dreams were your ticket out. Welcome back.
Welcome back to the Hasn't Been 3 Days podcast with your host Justin and BJ, and we talk about 3-day-old news. Tonight we talk about 3-week-old news, whatever else we seem to want to care about and talk about. You, the MVP listener, you listen in, you laugh, you hate on our takes. But if you're going to hate on our takes or opinions, please wait until it's been 3 days. So, Justin, thanks for the break, man. How's it been? Three weeks and 6 days, technically.
But who's counting?
Who's counting? Brenton is counting.
Brenton has been worried that we weren't going to come back. He was questioning. He's like, Dad, you don't talk to BJ anymore online? Are you guys still even talk? Bree even asked me the other day. She's like, I don't hear you talking about BJ anymore. And I was like, well, maybe he got a better offer. But
we had a break. We had a pivot break and pivot.
It was good. It was good to have, like, honestly, for as busy as the holidays are, it was a good time to have a break. I think just in general, the audience probably enjoyed it to have a break, so they didn't feel like they had to listen to us. Our faithful listeners did ask about us, but
well, not only that, and
yeah.
Thank you to our MVP listeners for continuing to listen, but I think the break also allowed some of our listeners to catch up.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And so again, thank you to the MVP listeners. We checked things. We haven't been broadcasting the numbers lately, and but our impressions have stayed up. And that's because you guys are still listening and catching up on old shows, and so I know of somebody even today that went back to the last episode just to kind of listen to it again before we started up. So yeah, people have been asking you, and here we go. We're set for season 2.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm excited. It's New Year. I don't know if we really pivoted to something. I mean, we have some cool ideas that are going to come out. So yeah, we're just looking to bring a platform for people that we know that might want to do stuff, who have businesses or projects that they want. We're going to try to gather those. I think we used the first year of not really knowing what to do with the podcast, and maybe we have some ideas now. I don't know. Or we could just go down in flames, whatever happens. But
yeah, I mean, we're still going to talk to our friends, and we're gonna this podcast has become more about friendship than about content, which is really cool. So we've got a couple of our friends lined up that we talked about last season getting on and just didn't work out. So we'll get them on this year. And then we also, like Justin had said, we've got some other ideas, talking to some business owners, talking to some other people that have done some things in life that are just interesting, and we want to get them on because we know them, or maybe we don't know them, and they just want to share about their experiences. Maybe it'll help somebody else out, just like we've had some guests on that have helped bring some insight to other people in their life. So it's been pretty cool.
Yeah, and we've get the engagement of people listening. We want people to engage with us now over email or social media. However that looks, however you're comfortable with. Obviously, if you do it over email, it's more private and it's not on social media unless you send us a private message on Instagram, or even Twitter. But yeah, I think we're going to try to challenge our audience to kind of provide some feedback, and we really want them to tell us, hey, what is it that you want to hear more from? Or if we talk about something, there are a lot of people who said, I wish this was live, because they would like to come on and answer that question that we had, or make a comment about a story we're telling. I know my sister tells me, oh yeah, I wish this was live and I was listening to live so I could just go in and comment about you guys doing stuff, or she was around back in the day too for our antics. But so we would love to hear those, because hey, I got older during that 3 weeks a day after we filmed, but I'm losing my memory. Who knows? Maybe I'm not taking the right supplements. Maybe you only tell me what supplements I need to take. I don't know. So my challenge is to our people, let's get more engaged. I think it'll bring some good conversation, and we can kind of go from there. So
yeah, so here's the way you can reach us. 3, the number 3, dayoldpodcast@gmail.com. That's our email. I would like to start a segment. People say we talk too much sports. We only talk like one segment of sports, but um, we can add a segment where we answer our fans and our MVP listeners who are listening in. If they have questions about a story, if they have clarification, or if they have opinions about our opinions, number three, dayoldpodcast@gmail.com. Let us know what you think. DM us on Instagram, whatever it takes, and we will answer you. We promise we will answer you. We want some engagement this season and to be able to get some feedback and have some fun that way. So just another way for you to connect with the show. We are not influencers, we are impressionists. So if we've made an impression on you, let us know. Let us know. So
Good and bad.
good and bad, yeah.
Yeah,
Good.
we'll take the bads.
We'll take it all, and we get to filter what we put on because it's our show, and we can do whatever we want. But we want you to engage us. We want to engage you and have some conversations in a different avenue this year, and so that'll be cool. So I do know specifically, I won't call them out by name. We were talking just briefly about the people we know listen every week, and so I want to just challenge you: if you've listened to every episode, please send us an email this week, 3dayoldpodcast@gmail.com. Let us know you've listened to every episode, and we will do something with that.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what, but if you've listened to every episode, let us know, engage with us, and we'll come back to you with something. We'll do something for that.
Yeah, McDonald's gift card or something.
Something. Yep. We'll get you taken care of.
Culver's kids snack pack ice cream cone
with the paper
The
coupon,
paper
right?
strip. Yeah. We got plenty of those.
You got any KC cardboard, KC pizza?
I
cardboard
don't.
Things? I went in. So there's a story for us as we get started in the next season.
I have Runza ones too.
Runza.
Co, yeah.
All of these places that do currency with their garbage. When Casey's doesn't do it anymore, but they used to have you tear off a part of the box and it had you collect so many and you got a free pizza. And so I remember living in Missouri and we went into Casey's Pizza one night and I was going to pay with my 10 pieces of cardboard. And I go up to the counter. I said, where else in the world can you pay for food with cardboard like this? And so the trash became currency, and we were able to get a pizza that night. So,
well, Pepsi does. They used to do those promotions where you open a bottle. Mountain Dew used to do it, and
yep,
you used to go pay for your drinks with your free bottle.
Yeah,
you collect those. You went through the trash just to find those stupid things.
Yep.
Yeah, we need to bring back those days.
Yeah.
That and landlines. We need to bring those back.
With the pigtail cords.
Yeah, that stretch like a mile through your house.
That are 50 yards long that will go to every corner of the house. Yep.
Yeah, we need to bring those back.
For sure.
Yeah, I think we just need to reset.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh goodness. But we would like to hear what who has, and heck, we'll even take people who've listened to 75%. It's a big commitment. We get it.
Yeah, engage with us. Let us know if you haven't listened to any or haven't listened to all of them. Let us know how many, and the person who's listened to the most, we'll give them a gift card.
Unless it's my parents, I'm not going to give you anything because I clean your yard every year.
Well, and they need to be on this show. They need to get on. So
so if it's my parents, they have to redeem it by being on the show.
That's right. And you just mentioned your sister. We got to get your sister on too. So I apologize. Let me make the first public apology of the new season. No,
I don't think you need to.
Oh, okay. Well,
you go ahead.
I started, so I got to finish.
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
You need to speak your mind. This is Speak Your Mind 2025 for BJ.
Michael Lynn is her middle name, right?
Yes.
Michael Lynn. I am sorry we have not had you on the show yet. So please make some time, carve some time out in your busy schedule of being the important person you are and join us on Hasn't Been 3 Days podcast.
Yeah. Her husband is a Chiefs fan. So,
Is he at least a Husker fan?
Yes.
We're good then. Okay.
Yeah, but he's
So-
a Chiefs fan.
Well, maybe then we can have Michael on for the Super Bowl because we know they won't be playing, so it'll be fine.
Yeah, it'll make it easier to get him on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll be grieving still because they're gonna lose.
I
this
will
weekend.
say I am disappointed we didn't get our invite to be on Media Row for the college football playoff.
Yeah.
Yeah, unless I missed an email, but
No.
no one invited us.
Oh, that's what I forgot to do on the break. My bad.
You forgot to.
I forgot to put in our credentials.
Oh, dang it.
Yep. My fault.
We got to figure out somebody who works with the media somewhere and tell us how to do these things. We obviously are amateurs.
Yeah.
But
what is
it-
this? Amateur hour? Yep. That's exactly what this
it
is.
was on a Monday night, which was weird, but whatever.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
it had like 20 days in between. But yeah, no. So the last 3 weeks, I mean, what about you? You kind of just laid low and enjoyed the holidays like me and family time and anything else I could add to that? Anything you want to add to it?
I
mean,
do have permission to add to that. Yeah, I had a great break. Spent Christmas with my kids. Spent Christmas night with all of our kids, Heidi and I's kids. So we had a blast. It was so much fun. And I just love it. I've had some extra time with the kids in this break, so that's been good, and I'm thankful for that. But also, just this past weekend, breaking news: I have asked Heidi to marry me, and she said yes. So. Yeah, so that was exciting. We've been planning for the next step for a little bit, and now we've made it official. And my kids kept telling me, "Dad, if you like it, you got to put a ring on it." So that's what's happened. So
Isn't that a Beyonce song?
I don't know, but
I think
Yep.
it is.
so
I can start singing if you want.
yeah.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's yeah, you say a lot of planning that goes into it. I think really it's more a lot of the praying about it and the situation and just with the kids and all, like just a blended family kind of situation.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
yeah,
That's,
so-
and that's been in the works. I mean, we've been dating since September, and been friends for a long time. So it's
Yeah.
it's in the works and happening, and so we're excited for that. So, but yeah, there's a lot of good things. What about you? What happened in your world? Anything exciting?
I didn't get engaged. Nope, I'm still married to my lovely wife, who everybody got to meet last 2 weeks before. But no, we just really enjoyed the holidays. I mean, we always host Christmas at our house, and so and we traveled, and then yeah, just kind of laid low. I took off I booked in the holidays this year and took time off before Christmas and only worked like 4 days in between, and then I had it off through New Year's weekend, so it was good. It was much needed. I knew, a new year, I just need to take some time for myself and just kind of lay low a little bit, not try to drain myself out. So
Well, good.
that's what I'm gonna try to do this year too. Got some. So yeah, this month and next month is gonna be busy. So got some travel plans on my docket this year. So that's good.
Yeah, that's always exciting.
I'm happy with that. So
Oh, yep.
well, so 3-day old news, man. Let's just get right into it. 3-week old news. I don't know what you want to call it. We're trying to figure out this thing. I mean, we've had a lot of things happen. We've
Yeah,
had-
you had mentioned something to me this week as we were just talking, and I thought it'd be good to bring up again.
Yeah.
This week was historical, for some different reasons, and you asked me some very pointed questions that I'm assuming you got off of X or somewhere like that, but just asked me my opinion. But Monday was election day, or not election day. It was
Inauguration Day.
inauguration day and MLK Day, and it was also the national championship game day, and it was also anything else in there that you want to throw in there on
It was
Monday happened.
everything.
And you sent me a question. I don't know if you want to pose the question again. I can bring up the chat if we needed to, but just like your question to me, and I didn't ask you back, so maybe that's where we start. Your question was to me is, if you had to be offended of one of these things, what would it be?
Yeah.
And you gave me the selection to choose from. One, that President Trump did not have his hand on the Bible when he was sworn in. Or two, the inauguration stepped on the toes of a national holiday of MLK Day. If I had to be offended by one of those two things, what would it be and why? So I answered that, but I want you to answer that. Why don't you tell us what you would be offended by?
I think I'm more offended because okay, so the Bible one, that's his choice, right? That's between him and his Savior and his whatever. That's for him to answer, not for us, right? I also think that it was within the powers of our own government to move the inauguration day or postpone it or do it on a different day and not do it on a national holiday. I know there could be some timing things, and maybe I'm not aware that this has to happen on these days, X, Y, and Z. So I think if I had to be offended, I think I'm more offended about that one. The fact that we are not celebrating that holiday, and we are celebrating the holiday, but then we're not just allowing that to be itself, and then we have to have this other government event. It's important, yes. I think it could have been done Tuesday. I don't know, but I don't know. Maybe I'm in the wrong.
No, I mean, it's your opinion, and that's kind of what we were talking about the other day. But my answer to you was, those choices are tough because to me, neither one bothers me. And I shared with you a little bit because we talked about the Trump thing before. But I mean, the reality of it is that if you look at that picture that you sent me, he's being sworn into a position that gives us the incredible freedoms that we have. And he is not a person who is flamboyant about his faith. One. Two, he has the fruit in his life shows that he's going to do things that are according to his agenda and what he wants to get through. And so there's going to be times where he's probably going to lie. He's probably going to do something that's going to make people upset. He's probably going to have a bad attitude. He's probably not going to have every day that he's in office be Christ-like. So when we are a country that talks about the separation of church and state, why do we get so up in arms if he's not going to be putting his hand on the Bible when we're supposed to be separated, church and state?
Yeah, I mean,
so
100%.
that one doesn't offend me, because even as a Christian, I'm like, the Bibles were there. There's a story there, but if you look at the picture, Melania is standing quite a ways away from him, and this isn't his first go round. So he's done it before, so he's probably not even thinking about it, because there's so much other stuff going on. I don't know. That's just my opinion. Again, I'm just not offended by it. And that brought me to your other question. If it's the other one, I this is what I wrote to you. I said, I think having it on a national holiday only signifies the unity of our nation. And if people are mad about that, then they're not really united anyway, which we know is the case. But people are going to complain about anything because we're a nation that argues and complains about everything because it's offensive to somebody.
Yeah.
And if people would stop being offended by things that really don't affect them at all, then this nation would be a far happier and better place to live. People could get along maybe. And if we would just stop being so selfish and narcissistic in our approach to life, if something happens in our life that we don't like, we don't have to be offended about it. We can just move on. And it's funny because I mentioned this to my staff just today. Actually, we were talking about it, and I said, everything in this world or in this society tells us that we need to be offended if it doesn't positively impact us. And I just think that's a joke.
Yeah.
And so I'm not going to be offended. I think having it on a national holiday should only signify the unity we can have with the things that Martin Luther King did and what he brought to this country. I think it only accentuates that holiday. And for somebody to be offended by it, it's like, come on. Now, you're right. You alluded to the law and the way things shape. There are some things in the law that say there's so many days in the transfer of power and all those things that,
Yeah. Yeah.
so all of that has to be done. But MLK Day has not always been a national holiday.
True.
So
Inaugurations have been around longer.
exactly,
Yeah, I get
exactly.
that.
So if here's what I want to say to people who get offended about things that don't personally impact them. Look in the mirror. If it personally impacts you, if it's going to change your day to day, then by all means, I'm going to listen to you. I'm going to have empathy and sit with you in it. If
Yeah.
it doesn't affect your day to day and you're going to sit here and throw a fit and force your agenda on everybody else, I'm not going to listen. I just don't have time for it. I don't need to bombard my life with negativity and people being offended just to be offended.
Yeah. Yep. And we had a good conversation about it. And I'm glad you brought it up again because it's a good talking point. Like it's the simple little things that I didn't even think about. Like I didn't even care. Like I saw the photos and then I saw all these comments. He's not this and he's this and blah blah. Blah. I was like, what? Who cares? Like literally. I mean, yeah. It was. I was just like. Then I started thinking. I was like, I wonder if people are upset about having it on MLK Day. I actually didn't read anything that people were upset. I personally didn't read anything,
Okay.
but I just threw it up there, like in my own brain. I was just like, are people upset that it's on MLK Day? Like, I could see people being that way.
Sure. Sure.
And so we had good banter back and forth, and it brings up good conversations. I'm not saying that there wasn't a comment or a few out there. I just didn't read it
Yeah.
or didn't even think to read it or even entertain it if it was out there to click on it.
Right.
Because the photo is how I even saw the Trump thing. I just saw a photo that got pushed on all major social medias.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
was just like, "What? Okay, whatever. Like,
Yeah.
we're done. We'll just
Well,
move on."
I think and people, we're asking people to engage with us. If you've got an opinion about this as well, email us 3dayoldpodcast@gmail.com. We'd be happy to engage in a conversation with you. And that's really what it comes down to. It's not a matter of rejecting somebody's offense. It's a matter if you really want to have a conversation where we can both air our side and do that respectfully and kindly, then let's have the conversation. There's a guy he used to be in the sports world, but he's kind of made his conversations mainstream. I can't remember the name of what he does, but I think it's Emmanuel Acho that does
Nope.
honest conversations with a black man or something like that is what it's called, or something like that.
I think that's something close to that. Yeah.
But his whole premise is let's at least start the conversation. Let's have a respectful conversation about something. So, I mean, again, if I've offended somebody by my take on this, I'm sorry that I offended you, but I'm not sorry for my take. It doesn't have to be your take.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to sit here and try to force it on you. I would just ask that you don't try to force yours on me, those kind of things. And so we have a society now and a culture where we can say whatever we want to say, hide behind a keyboard, and nobody can tell us anything different. We don't have to be held accountable. We don't have to be told we're wrong. If we are, we just delete them or cancel them, and we think we can just move on. And that's the problem with our world today, is that there's no accountability, and people can say and do whatever they want. There's bullies everywhere. And it's why our kids and this generation of kids growing up with social media are so messed up right now in so many ways, is because they're looking at all these highlights through social media. They're seeing how many likes they're getting. They're seeing how many followers they're getting, who's DMing them, who's putting them in their B reels, who's doing all these things, how many snap streaks do they have, and all these things, and nothing matters.
Yeah.
These things are going to be gone in 2 years. And what are our kids going to be left with? They're going to be left with, well, what does so and so think about me? Who cares?
Yeah.
Worry about what matters to you and go get it.
Yeah.
And it's just so hard because our society tells us that the likes that you have, You got to make it look just perfect. You got to see how many people can get you to follow, and it just doesn't. I mean, we're in the same thing. We're doing. I'm preaching this right now. I'm on a soapbox, and yet we're sitting here with our own podcast because we want to do whatever we want to do.
Yeah,
So
but we've done what we're doing what you just said. We're
yeah,
doing what we want to do.
yeah,
And but maybe there's somebody out there who's not willing to do that, but they want to voice their opinion in an email. And, we're not going to blast your name on there. We'll read your opinion. We'll have that conversation. So,
yep, absolutely.
yeah. So, once again,
It was good. It was a good Monday. It was a busy day. I thought it was kind of cool that all of it fell on the same day. So there's
yeah, there
my
was just a lot of little
closing
things
statement.
no, I agree. It was a busy, busy day. So, um, but it was good.
Yeah.
So what else you been up to? You've been listening to anything, reading, watching? You watching that new golf league that's on ESPN? You into new podcasts? What you got going on? Anything new?
Yeah, I was thinking about this as we came back because we talked a little bit about like what are we gonna do? How's it gonna be different or whatnot? And I thought, well, what can we add? What kind of segment could we add? And I know neither one of us read a whole lot. Um, we live busy lives, but we listen. I have a 2 hour drive every day, so I'm listening to a lot of different things. Um, and watching things, whatever the case may be. But you had mentioned the golf league happening. I hadn't seen any of it till just this week, and I tuned in just to look at it. It's interesting, but in partnership with my answer to your question is I've been listening to my podcasting radio show. Wouldn't call him a hero, but somebody I just kind of enjoy listening to, and Tony Kornheiser. And so he was talking about it, and so it's just interesting to hear his take on it. It's his son said something today about it's like watching your buddies go to Top Golf and have beers, but these guys are real golfers. They're just out there watching sports in the background and hitting golf shots and talking, and they look like us. They don't look like
Yeah.
pro golfers because they're hitting shots. I mean, I was the little bit I watched this week. I
So
mean,
many penalty shots.
penalty shots, hitting it in the water, hitting
Oh
it all
yeah.
these things, and yeah, but it's kind of cool to see golf year round. It's kind of cool to see it in this format, but it's different, which I like change. I like things that are different. So it was okay.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna change my schedule to watch it.
Yeah. I mean, it's just now that it's on at night, right? That your nap just turns into going to bed.
Right.
Because usually, like when you watch it on Sundays or Saturdays, it's during nap. You get your nap in during that time.
There you
Now,
go.
you don't get very much golf nowadays, where you can have six guys who are in essentially like a six. There's six of them, of people just talking and
Mhm.
conversating and giving each other crap over everything, how bad the shot was. I mean, if you watched, I think you watched the one with Tiger. I don't know if you saw it, but I can't remember his name. He chipped out of the sand and just totally bladed the ball, and it went right off the pin. But if they didn't hit that pin, it would have taken out an audience member. But just seeing the interactions of those guys acting like little kids laughing about somebody having a bad shot, that is all of us
Yeah.
on the golf course.
Yeah.
And I think that's fun and entertaining. So, but
Yeah, it's good.
yeah,
No, I'm listening to Tony Kornheiser. I think his show is Monday, Wednesday, Friday. They put their podcast out, and so it's pretty cool. I like listening to him. I've listened to him for many, many years on his radio show, and then through the podcast, obviously on TV. But I really want to meet somebody that's a TK follower and just go up to somebody and just say La Cheeserie and see who would respond. I think that would be cool. But I don't know that I'll ever come across anybody like that. So
I'll start listening just to be able to say it to you.
okay,
Yeah.
sounds good.
I mean, I used to listen to him. I think back in the day,
In the
didn't we?
Nelnet
In
days,
Nelnet days, we listened to him,
yep,
if I
yep,
remember correctly. So,
for sure. So
but yeah, well, no new true crime podcast that you found? Anything new out there?
I'm not listening to anything new. I'm catching up on some Dateline episodes. So I just crossed over into September of 2020 because I listened oldest to newest. And so there's a lot of those out there. So I'm still catching up on that. But yeah, I listen to a lot of crime shows.
Yeah, I wish I had more. I don't. I don't have a 2-hour drive. An hour to work, an hour home. I'm in a car for that long, running back and forth and doing errands. But man, that is my time for peace and quiet sometimes. So,
Sure. Yeah.
and getting in and out of the car, it's not just a consistent drive like you have that you can just
Yeah.
put something on 2 speed and get through it.
I
So,
wish I didn't have that long of a drive.
no,
So
I get it. But do you
yeah.
also do you enjoy podcasts and stuff like that? So,
Yeah.
but no, I just listen to sports radio, AM, online, and they get into fun discussions like, well, like Olive Garden is the Italian for Applebee's. So then I said, well, I wonder what other things we could have out there. So BJ, I'm gonna ask you a couple things.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask you, what is the Applebee's? Everybody knows what Applebee's is. Your neighborhood bar and grill, right? Isn't that what their
Yep.
slogan is? I
Yep.
don't remember. Yep. So the equivalent to like Applebee's, like Olive Garden, is the Italian Applebee's.
Okay.
So I want to see what you say. there was a there was a segment on a sports radio that they just went down this rabbit hole for like 50 minutes.
Hmm.
And it was nutty, the stuff that they were talking about and just the interaction. So now I'm kind of curious. It was kind of fun listening to it. And so I kind of threw it out there to you to see. I was going to kind of see what you would say. So Italian, I think we agree, like Olive Garden is like the Italian Applebee's. And these can't be fast food. They obviously can have takeout or sit down. Um, so like, what would you say if we said like, um, barbecue Applebee's? What would you say would be
Mm.
what would you check mark as
Well,
the
it's got to be something that is nationwide or close to being nationwide, right? Because
100%?
so
Usually found in a strip mall of some sort. Um,
yeah, or next to an airport or something like that. So you
there's
said
probably a Target nearby or a
yeah,
Lowe's or Home
yeah,
Depot or something like
for
that.
sure, or a La
Yeah.
Quinta Inn. Yeah.
Yeah.
What
Yes.
is I heard a joke once. What does La Quinta stand for? It stands for Denny's because you always see a Denny's right next to a La Quinta Inn.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but
so like what would be your barbecue?
barbecue Applebee's. I would say like a Famous Dave's.
Famous Dave's, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
Famous Dave's is a good one.
So, but
I
Famous Dave's. So I like Applebee's. So I still like Applebee's. We just ate at Applebee's a couple weeks ago.
We're not dogging on Applebee's.
No, but
I know we did like episode 1 or 2. I just threw them totally under the bus.
yeah, but
Um,
no, Applebee's is good, and we could take an endorsement from them any day of the week. But um, I would say Famous Dave's, and I like Famous Dave's. I like their food. I don't have good barbecue out here, so we do have a Famous Dave's in Portland, and so it's been good to go there a couple times. But yeah, Famous Dave's would be my answer. What about you?
well, I would agree on Famous Dave's. And I think that is what what everybody kind of else came to. I couldn't think of any other national. Somebody threw out Dickies.
That's fast
But
food.
it's fast food. I would agree with that. Um, so yeah, I think Famous Dave's is equivalent to that. Usually you can find a mall nearby,
Yeah, yeah.
or some type of
What would you say is
big box.
Applebee's competitor?
Applebee's competitor?
Like, what would be somebody that says we want to be the Italian Applebee's, but not we want to be the Applebee's equivalent? What would
Chili's.
Chili's? Okay, Chili's is kind of struggling though. But yeah, it's good. I like a good Chili's.
I mean, Chili's is probably the only thing that would, because I think everything else kind of falls in its own category.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Um, like you have Famous Dave. So like if I said, what would be somebody also said like barbecue also um would be like Texas Roadhouse, but I don't know where like that
Well,
almost seems like the steakhouse equivalent to Applebee's would be Texas
Texas
Roadhouse.
Roadhouse. Yeah, yeah, I could go there.
Would be the steakhouse one, not so much barbecue. Yeah, they have barbecue.
Yeah, I could do that. I could see that. What
What
about the
about
Mexican?
yeah, Mexican? I was gonna ask you what you think about Mexican.
The Mexican Applebee's.
Yeah. What
Um,
national chain?
national chain that would be the Mexican Applebee's. Have you ever heard of a Chevy's?
Chevy's? Or
Chevy's,
Chevy's
depending on the dialect you use of the
dialect? Yeah.
I would also throw out like Carlos O'Kelly's.
Carlos O'Kelly's is what I had on my list.
Yeah.
Yeah, Carlos O'Kelly's.
There was another one we had. Oh, On the Border.
On the Border, yeah.
On Chi-Chi's.
Chi-Chi's making a comeback. They currently don't have very many locations, I don't think.
Yeah.
But they are coming back.
Yeah, some of those that were national.
Yeah, I would probably say On the Border is I would say On the Border, without doing the research, I would say On the Border probably would have that, or Carlos Kelly's would have its mark on. I don't know, the last time I saw is Chevy's.
Yeah, it's more probably south and
Yeah,
southwest.
and there's probably
So yeah.
What about a pizza? What about like the pizza equivalent to Applebee's? What would you say that would be?
Well, I would have said before recently, and we just had this conversation, I would have said Pizza Hut, but
Yeah.
now there's not too many dine-in places that are national for pizza.
Old Chicago?
I mean, I don't.
Are you with me still, or did I lose you? BJ.
Yeah, I thought I lost you. Are you there?
I'm there. I'm
Okay.
here. Can you hear me?
Yep.
BJ just went through a tunnel on his 2-hour drive.
I thought it was you. You froze on my screen. So.
Oh no, I've been. Yeah, who knows what's going on?
This is good radio.
Yeah, good. So a pizza chain or pizza, Old Chicago pizza. I would agree with you, but
Yeah.
I think Old Chicago might be taking that place.
Yeah,
Or
I mean,
like
Old Chicago's not. It's not as national as you would think.
Oh, it's not.
No.
Okay.
But I get what you're saying. I would agree with you on that. But yeah, that's an interesting debate. I don't know that we could spend 50 minutes on it, but good.
No,
for
it was a
20.
good. Yeah, the last couple of them, like, what would be the Chinese restaurant? What would be a Chinese restaurant? That
it's got to be the China buffet because there's a China buffet everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere. P.F. Chang's.
P.F. Chang's.
Yeah.
I guess it's fast food, but I mean,
You were gonna say Panda Express.
Panda Express is yeah. I mean,
if you just said orange chicken, it would have to
chicken.
be.
Yeah. The cost of food now any days is. I mean, you could go sit down and eat for the same price you can go fast food at Panda. So
yeah. No. So and then dessert Applebee's. What would you say dessert Applebee's would be?
Well, I mean that has so many different options. It's
I know.
Yeah. I mean, what do you say? Cheesecake Factory?
Cheesecake Factory, just because the size of their. Yeah, I mean, on top of it, they might just be large menu Applebee's.
That's true.
Because it's like 20,000 pages.
Yeah.
But now I think so. This last one came into debate because of how old it was. But what would you say is seafood?
Red Lobster, but it's dead now. So
it's dead, and it's been around really like super long. And they were trying to put it into a category of like them all being the same age. You know, like.
Yeah. You know, they could rebrand Red Lobster as a new seafood place and just do the same thing. They just call it the Green Crab.
The Green Crab.
And they could just bring it all back.
Sounds like you need some ointment from a doctor.
Yeah, probably so.
But yeah. I was thinking of is there still an Eat at Joe's Crab Shack still around? Like, have you seen those in a while?
I mean, the last one I saw was in Colorado Springs. So
okay, yeah.
Which again, a Joe's Crab Shack. No, I saw a Joe's Crab Shack when I was in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. So there's a coastal one.
Yeah.
When you go to the coast, you can get good seafood. So you're not going to those name brand places. You're going to, you're going to a hole in the wall place that does good seafood when you're out here or on the East Coast as well.
Yeah. Well, so it's just been. What would you say this? Okay, last one, because then we're gonna transition into sports because we're kind of part of this our show outline. But what would you say would be the sports bar Applebee's?
Oh, it's got to be Buffalo Wild Wings.
Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. The other funny one was like what one was the booby Applebee's, and that was Hooters. I thought that was hilarious and funny all
I
at the same
wouldn't
time.
know.
Well,
I wouldn't know.
it's just whatever.
Yeah.
But anyways. But yeah. So that was kind of fun. Those are kind of the stupid things I listen to. Sometimes I could just get stuck into those debates. So if anybody has any other debates they want to email us, email us. We'll talk about debates.
3dayold podcast at gmail.com. Engage with us. Talk to us.
How many times have we plugged that today?
Not enough. We're going to do it some more too. So, yep.
But so anyways, good transition into sports.
All right. Into sports.
Oh, actually, no, we're not going into sports. My apologies. I almost forgot we were having an interview. Ish, yeah. We are. Well, Justin's going to introduce you to our interview. Welcome, BJ.
Thank you. It's good to be on.
Actually, BJ, during his 3-week, has really been pushing his new side business he's got going on, his new side hustle. So, BJ, well, it's not really a hustle. I mean, it wants to be full time, right?
Correct.
BJ, why don't you tell us about your new fascinating? You've had a lot of new stuff in your life. You got this new side business. You're going to have a new girl on your side with a ring. Like, there's a lot of new things. So why don't you tell us what you got going on, man?
Yeah, so I have been trying to figure out the next career move for myself as I've stopped pastoring church full time and church ministry, and so I've done some different things as I've tried to find a new career, and was working in senior living for a little bit, and then home health care for a little bit. Now I'm a director of a nonprofit pregnancy center. And so done a lot along the lines, been unemployed for quite a while due to circumstances as well. So it's been a whole interesting season for a couple of years. I've explored, well, how can I invest in myself so I don't depend on a company or somebody else for a paycheck, that other people could do something about. And so I've looked at everything. When you go online and you search, side hustles and all these things, I've looked at almost everything. I've paid money for some. I've done the free stuff. I've tried things out, and for some of those people that do it, good for them, and they can make it work. It's not for everybody. So one of the things that I came across was, why don't I do something that is a skill that I have, but also could lead into something more and multi-level it. Not multi-level like, selling knives or something or Tupperware, but multi-tiers.
Bring back Amway.
Yeah, multi-tiers in the business. And so I have started a bookkeeping business. That's the service I offer, but I also want to bridge that into some leadership consulting. And so over the break, not the podcast break, but the holiday break over Thanksgiving, I had all of my kids kind of go over some name choices for the new business. And so what we're doing, I offer bookkeeping services for any small business owners. My niche, if you will, want to get in with some churches because that's the experience I have, and I can help with their bookkeeping, their reporting, their board communication, that kind of thing. So that's kind of the entry level services. But the kids came up with the name, and I have started this business called Thelander Leadership Consulting, and TLC for short. And through this season of life, I've realized that I need some TLC. We all need some TLC. So Uh, that's my slogan. Everybody needs a little TLC. So, but I'm trying to market to churches, to nonprofits, to small business owners. Let me focus on your books while you focus on what matters, to grow your business. And so we're trying to get that launched and off the ground. But yeah, Thelander Leadership Consultant. You can. I do have an email and a site pending. My email is bj at thelandertlc.com, and you can email me there if you're a church, a pastor, if you're a small business owner, nonprofit leader, but also want to offer, eventually be able to offer some coaching and consulting for those pastors that maybe need an executive pastor that can't be on site and you don't have the money to hire somebody full time. But I could come in and consult with your board, help you with board relations if you got a tough board, if you need staff development, strategic planning, those kind of things that I've done, that I'm gifted at in the area of leadership, but be able to help, in those nonprofit, churches, small business owners, to help them kind of explain their books, where they're headed, how they can maybe do some things differently or better, but also just help the individual leaders in some leadership coaching as well. So that's the goal, and launch that out. And so, yeah, I'm taking new clients. You can also find me on Instagram and on Facebook, Thelander Leadership Consulting. Um, and I'd be happy to have a conversation with you and see how we might be able to help you meet your bookkeeping needs and maybe help you out with some strategic planning.
Yeah, and they'll we'll have special codes like Justin, and you get like a discount.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Justin or
no.
Green Pathway or something like that.
Yeah, green pathway. But yeah, no, that's cool. Me and you've had a lot of side conversations about this. You've had it with other people too. But I'm happy that this is happening. I think this is a good way for you to show your skills. It also provides me a little, maybe, maybe something I can help with stuff too on the side, with you through your connections, because um you know I some of this stuff I dabble in, but this is not about me, it's about you. So I'm super excited for you on this new journey, and getting that off the ground and helping where I can. So we will be putting this on our link tree, link from our podcast. We'll link some of BJ stuff, and we'll also, once his website's up and running, we'll get that link so you guys can always find it. So um if anybody else has anything, we're gonna plug the podcast again, the email.
Yeah.
If anybody else has anything like this that they're trying to do, launch, want to talk about, and we don't reach out to you and say, hey, you should be on here, hey, hit us up. We would love to talk about it. And you know, it just takes one person to share something to get a story out, right? We kind of saw that with some of the stuff that we had last season, of just people sharing our podcast, and it created some good conversations with people
Well,
and the
and
interactions we got. So
to be honest with you and with our listeners, that's kind of what I'm waiting for, is that one person to kind of hit things off and get things going. One of the things I did today even was just reach out to some other CPA firms and other accounting firms and just say, hey, how can I help you? You've got to be overloaded. Is there a way I can take some of your stuff off of your plate and help you subcontract, that kind of thing, just to kind of begin the conversation. And so, yeah, like you said, if there's somebody else that's starting a business or getting going for themselves or investing in themselves, and you want to talk about things, or maybe we could even plug your business and plug what you're doing, and we can have a conversation about your ups and downs and your biggest struggles and your biggest successes, we would love to have you on. So reach out to us, 3dayoldpodcast@gmail.com. If you need bookkeeping services, you need a pulpit filled, you need a board retreat, you need some leadership consulting, let me know at bj@thelandertlc.com.
all right, don't book them up too much. We still got to film a podcast each week, so just
Well,
keep
that's the other thing we
start.
talked about, is kind of doing a spin-off of
Yeah,
this
the
and
podcast.
using
Yeah.
that. So hope to be able to do that here in the next few months. Hopefully get a trial episode out there and see if we can't do some podcast coaching or some thought-provoking ideas
Yeah,
that way.
with
So
with our own podcast, we, at very early stages, we talked about having it be its own umbrella and see what comes of it, with our involvement, even if it's just your show. Talking about recently about your show and me helping produce it and helping with that content. And maybe you'll have more engagement because I won't be on it. Make it better. So
No.
it's all good. It's all
Uh,
good.
well,
So no, I'm excited for you. Yeah, I was excited to help you kind of kick this off too. So, but yeah,
yeah,
good
thanks.
job, man.
Thanks for the time and for that. I did talk to one pastor and just kind of, um, he told me, he goes, when I saw you post something online, it just really made me smile because those are your strengths. That's what you were good at in the ministry, and so it would make sense that other people could benefit from what you can bring to the table. And so that's what I want to do. I just want to be available, be able to. Um, Coach and mentor if that comes available, but also just kind of be that remote executive pastor, that might be able to be that consultant for a pastor that's struggling with some of the administrative work. So
And sometimes there are, yeah, a lot of small churches are. It's a one man show. I mean, you know
yep,
about that. I mean,
yep,
you kind of had that situation, um, more than once. I think I don't remember.
yep, yep.
So yeah, it's nice to know that you can separate that, and it doesn't have to be an internal thing, especially when it comes to payroll, bookkeeping, and just other little things like that. It's nice to have somebody you can count on that's not you always doing it, and you can pull away from the finances a little bit as a pastor or of leader of some sort. So, and it's
Correct.
just sharing knowledge across the board, and learning from each other just makes everything so much better, in growth and everything that we do. So, I think that's also important as well. So,
Agreed. Agreed. Thank you for plugging that. And yeah, well, I guess officially the 3 day old podcast. This is the Thelander Leadership Consulting plug. So there you go.
yeah, maybe it'll be next time. We'll make sure that you pay the fee for the spot, but we'll get there. No, we don't do that. I mean, we'll take corporate accounts for our reads if we need to later on. So
Right, right. Yeah.
yeah,
Monetize this thing a little bit later.
yeah. We'll get corporate accounts. We'll read Buffalo Wild Wings or whatever
Applebee's,
else.
come on, Applebee's, let's go.
No, we were talking about sports bar Applebee's, and we did say Buffalo Wild Wings. So
Yep.
we get into things that you could watch at Buffalo Wild Wings. We got the NFL coming up. NFL league championships.
Yeah, yeah. So we kind of we finished our predictions tied, and so not I'm not having us predict necessarily, but just kind of what have you seen in the playoffs? What do you think for the Super Bowl? I don't even know who's the halftime show. That's probably what matters more than who's playing in it. But um,
You're 100% right. I don't even know who the halftime show is.
so yeah, we're huge sports fans. You know who I've got. I said we're not making predictions, but I root for the Denver Broncos and anybody who plays the Kansas City Chiefs, and so I'll be pulling for the Bills to get to the Super Bowl. And I think the story on the NFC is the Washington Commanders. I think that's a pretty cool story. It'd be cool to see Jaden Daniels get there as a rookie, and it'd be fun. So
Yeah,
I'm pulling Bills Commanders.
I was just gonna say the same thing. I
Well,
think
with that, it's been 3 days.
with that our 3 day, we're good. We'll be back on the Super Bowl week. We'll be here. We'll be down Radio Row. Are you gonna? Yeah. No, I mean, the Commanders is the only thing I worry about is their defense. But other than that, that guy, they're playing lights out right now. They're always gonna be the Washington Redskins to me, but that's my opinion. So, but anyways, so yeah, and then the Super Bowl. I have no ideas on the halftime show. I'll be watching, not the game. I'll just be watching the commercials. Isn't that what everybody does?
Yeah,
We'll
that's for
talk
sure.
about that. We got 2-3 more weeks before that. So
Yep, for sure.
other than that, I don't. What else? There's no, sport. We're kind of in that year now that it's just college basketball 24/7, and I don't watch college basketball unless it's
March.
March Madness or
Yeah.
the Huskers are playing. Like we're recording right now, and the Huskers are playing, and they lost, and So whatever.
So you've told me before you don't watch college basketball till March, and so until the brackets come out, pretty much. So I'm
I
just
watched
curious.
championship week.
Yeah, yeah,
Championship.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I'm just curious at this stage of the season. Just you did this in '97. You picked the Spartans to win, and the Spartans won. But pick pick the NCAA basketball champion right now. Who's winning the tournament right now?
Right now,
Like who's going to win it? You predict
uh,
it. This is probably like a plus 2400 on the gambling spread, but who you got winning the title this year?
I mean, I think it's man.
Is it a Big 10 school?
It's not a big. I think Duke is gonna win,
Yeah.
and I think that's what you would say. That's an every year pick, but they don't ever get it that far.
No.
Duke is pretty good this year. I mean, they do have the best player right now. Um, but yeah, but I could also see someone like Florida or Kansas kind of pop in there too. So
Yeah. Yeah.
Kansas is always a tournament team that can make a run, or they can lose the first round. If they get past the first round, they do pretty good. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I don't watch it enough to be dangerous right now. I don't even get into it until championship week and then March Madness. Man, I last year you got to come out and have some time away from what was going on, and you got to come hang out with me and my crazy friends and we had a good time watching March Madness.
Yeah.
That I enjoy it. I enjoy that fellowship and hanging out with guys or hanging out with anybody who wants to, and we just sit and have fun and watch and be disappointed sometimes.
I
So
watch our brackets go down in day one. Yeah.
yeah, but that's the fun part. I don't yeah, this year it's gonna yeah, right now, I mean, I don't know. I mean, are you following enough to even kind of put a guess out there?
Um, there is no to answer your question short term. No, I'm not. I don't. There is somebody. Um, that yeah. I'm gonna right now on January 22nd, year of our Lord 2025. I'm going. I'm going Yukon again because of their coach. That's the only reason. So.
Because of their coach, you like his antics?
Well, I didn't say that. It's
Oh, okay.
entertaining. So
Yeah.
I'm going Yukon. I'll go with Yukon. Yukon and Duke. I love Duke.
I love
So yeah, I'm with you. That player of the
Here's my
year.
short list. Duke, Florida, Kansas, Iowa State, or Michigan State. There's my short list.
Okay. Yeah, so you got some Big Ten schools in there. I would go Duke, Yukon. I'd go. I don't know why, but I'm gonna go Tennessee or Kentucky. Um, yeah, and for a dark horse, even though they just got beat by the Beavs, I'll say Gonzaga will make a run.
I mean, they're always there, right?
Yep.
They're always
They just
there.
got beat by Oregon State, so that's a tough loss.
Yeah, that doesn't look very good.
So, but
But
yeah,
yeah. Anyways.
it'll be fun. So, well, we're back week 1, season 2. We're looking ahead to next week, and what do we got coming? We don't know yet, but we'll fill you in. So, Justin, what do you got going on the next 3 days or so?
Next 3 days. Well, my son is shooting archery this year for middle school. So we get to go to an archery meet. Archery
Wow.
gathering? Archery, I don't know what you call it. What do you call a gathering?
A quiver.
It's called a quiver? Yeah, no. So we go to that. He's never shot bow and arrow before. So it's been fun watching him do it. Yeah. So we get to go do that drive. Like the last couple weeks, we've had to drive an hour to go to these meets, and I think this week is here in town. So that and probably watch football and I think it's actually a lot of Brenton and I time this weekend because I think Becky's mom's coming here and Becky and Brie are going shopping with her. So
Oh,
could be
there
a
you
lot of
go.
guy time, a lot of football time. Maybe we'll go out and buy bows and we'll shoot in the backyard. Who knows?
There you go.
Well, what about you? What you got going on?
Well, normal family stuff. Elliot's playing basketball right now, and he's a starter and captain on the JV team at his school.
Nice.
And this last week
Nice.
we started league play, and he's gotten into both varsity games this last week. So hoping that maybe we can make it 3 for 3 in the league. And so Friday night he plays again. So yeah, got basketball Friday night. Family time tomorrow night, and just normal stuff.
Just a normal, yeah. Well, besides the basketball, that's not all the time, but family, church, extra activities.
Yep.
Seems like that's the pretty much for probably 70% of America. Maybe 70%. That number might be wrong about the church piece, but yeah, cool, man. Well, I'm happy that we're back. I'm happy that we pushed through this. I hope it turned out good. I don't know what we're doing anymore. No.
We made it, and we'll be back next week with some more content that we want to bring you. So thanks for listening in. Thanks for joining us, and welcome back is the theme of the night. So we're glad for that. But thanks, Justin, for being here. Thanks, MVP listener, for listening in. Here's to a lack of communication of irrelevant age news. We'll see you next time.
Welcome back. Your dreams were your ticket out. Welcome back to that same old place that you laughed about. Well, the names have all changed since you hung around.